person, living or dead, is solely the opinion of Mr. Santilli. Also be advised that the following commentary may have adult content, so parental discretion is strongly advised. So go grab your chips and your Diet Coke and get ready for Pete Santilli. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
But we're never gonna survive unless we are a little. But we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. But we're never gonna survive
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.
Here we go. Ready? Come on, repeat after me. Repeat after me. Fight. 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 Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fight. Fight night on LFA TV.
It's the Fight Club.
Fight night. It's the Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club.
That's
What
right.
was that? Warning. Warning. Anyways, someone was trying to reach me. Good evening, everybody. This is what I want everyone to do. There we go. We're going upward, and the only way to make that happen, it's a second night. First night, I was the featured guest.
Yes.
Second night, General Flynn is the featured guest.
Yes.
Okay? So this is what I need you to do. I need everybody right now. General Flynn is coming on here to relay a very important message exclusively. Okay? Exclusively. Something going on with John Brennan. He's going to kind of mention it. It's not going to be the main thing because of where it came from, but a very high-level source about John Brennan. That news is coming, but I need you all to click that thumbs up button. Deb Santilli is...
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Look at, we got to swap that. It's Deb Santilli and Pete. Deb Santilli and Pete.
People will
I'm not
complain.
Deb Santilli. Here, wait. There you go. There we go.
People are going to get confused.
Yes.
They look so much alike.
Yes, they are. Welcome,
Yeah.
LFA TV. Welcome also for everyone catching the rebroadcast, which is real important because just in a matter of hours, we put it up. Pete, I love the intro. Yes. Fight. Fight. That's right. It's the fight song.
It is.
I chose that one.
I know.
Yeah.
I like it.
I listen, as soon as you're ready to go, you can take
I'm ready.
care of... You are? Okay.
What do you mean? I thought you meant
I
on
said,
with the
as soon
show.
as you're ready, I don't finish my sentence, and you got to go with what you got.
You said as soon as you're ready to go.
As soon as you're ready to go, I'm going to go right to General Flynn.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you let me know.
Well, we want to say hello to everybody.
Say hello to everybody. That's what I mean. Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us here on LFA.
Yes.
We certainly appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody joining us on our second night here.
That's
so
right.
we've come off of
the Pete Santilli show.
Yeah.
Counter coup. Fight. Fight.
Yeah. And if you guys would like in the morning, we'll be rebroadcasting this on our own channel and we'll be in the chat room with you.
Yeah, what happened last night, and this is the way it's going to go. News cycle comes in, stuff happens during the day, the stuff that's happening here on this show. Today, we got General Flynn. Okay, he's got some important messaging. And then, of course, we cover the news of the day as it happens, almost real-time unraveling it. Loads into the morning show. The morning show is the evening show. So welcome, and I need everybody. And guess what? Deb and I are in the chat rooms. You get to interact with us more. You're actually getting mo for yo money.
Mo.
Yo.
All right, so welcome, everybody.
Welcome, and Spreely Media, of course. Spreely Media, our podcast.
Oh, we're on Spreely tonight, huh?
Yeah. You know,
Hello, Spreely.
Let me say something, a couple different things, okay? We're also streaming out on YouTube. Everybody needs to know that.
Oh, we are?
We are.
That's
Can you
not going
imagine?
to last very long.
I made it through one episode without, it's like the first time I've streamed an episode without getting banned, deleted.
Oh, really?
Warning, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll see how long it lasts. I can barely hear that.
The hour of the time, right?
Yeah.
Lights out.
Yes. Yeah, and you guys want to, we're going to be here with you for 2 hours, and you want to stay tuned for the flyover gang, right?
Yeah, Flyover Conservatives comes on immediately following us, of course.
Yes.
Hannah Faulkner. I didn't hear Hannah. I normally like to hear her say, Pete Santilli's coming up next. He's going to bring the fire.
She's such a great girl.
Yeah, she
I
is.
like her a lot.
She is. But Hannah Faulkner,
You got to meet
then
her
our show.
personally a couple of weeks ago.
We're going to be
so that's
live
pretty
for 2 hours, and this 2 hours is going to be power-packed because as soon as Deb says go, we're going with General Flynn. But I have just one housekeeping item.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there
WKR
anything,
Pete.
that today that struck you as...
Peter struck me.
No, you don't want that to happen.
No.
Is there anything that really jumped out at you that happened today?
Yeah, heck yeah. But I have to go to General Flynn's interview.
Yeah. I think what continues to amaze me and stand out to me is how many people who were on Team Trump are now betraying him in the movement itself.
But, you know, that's kind of like analyzing in this case, Nick Fuentes, him being a little twink master, hanging out with Alex Jones.
I wasn't
being a
necessarily
Nazi
even
guy.
just talking about him or
Alex Jones.
I'm talking
Steve
about
Bannon.
I'm talking about across the board. I'm talking about the people in the threads.
In our thread?
No, the people over on all the social media platforms who join in on this Trump bashing, and even podcasters now. I'm noticing, they're like, oh my goodness, we've got so little time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The guy's been in office for 7 months, and he's been sued a gazillion times already. Every time he tries to do anything, he gets sued, and he always wins. But they're eating up time that way, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about it. And if these people keep up doing what they're doing, guess what's going to happen? We're going to lose the midterms, and all of those people that are doing this are going to deserve all the communism that's going to be handed to them.
Yes,
on
absolutely.
a silver platter. Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, why are you people doing this? Do you really want the Democrats to win in the midterms? Would that make you happy because you didn't get your Epstein report, or because you didn't get, because he didn't deport enough illegal aliens for you? I mean,
that's right.
Seriously.
Okay, yes.
In
and
7 months?
We're going to come back to
He's
that.
done a lot of work. He's done a lot of good things.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think it's about
absolutely.
time people start recognizing that he has. And if you guys want the communists to win, just keep it up. Just keep it up, because it's coming. And we know exactly who to blame when it does. I do.
Yeah, I sure do too. Okay, so housekeeping items. You ready?
Yes.
This is really important. All right. You're going to be hearing between now and the end of the weekend more about the Strategic Materials Exchange. The only one like it in the world. Okay, Strategic Materials Exchange. Big thing happening out of Texas. Big thing happening in Arizona. Big things happening in the world, Ukraine. All of the strategic critical minerals in physical stores. A lot of it's going to go to Texas right now. That's what we're hearing. Thank God they all came back to work. So by special session, some things are going to be happening. But they're back in session, so here we go. We're going to go with the final round if you want to become an angel investor, okay? This is it. This will be the last time you'll hear about becoming an angel investor because we will be funded. This is the final. You're sensing it, right?
Oh,
the final round, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So you go to WKRPete.com, and you can click that button right there. Now, on WKRPete.com, you can catch our stream. If something happens with whatever platform that you're listening on. You can also download our podcast, and you'll see that this most recent episode is right here. You can listen to that on audio driving down the road. You can become an angel investor, and looky, subscribe to our channel. Click that button right there, and it will take you and automatically subscribe you, okay? It'll say, subscribe, please subscribe. The button automatically comes up. We have it pre-programmed to do so, all right? So WKRP.com. Now, if you guys say, I don't want to go on YouTube, we're not asking you whether or not you want to go on YouTube. We need,
you don't have to.
We need subscribers because nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows that we're even on YouTube anymore. Okay, so bump us up, and it actually allows us to monetize, and we get more coverage. All right, so we'd appreciate it if you go to WKRP.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking that button right there. And guess what? Here's another thing. Have you used Ground News? We use Ground News.
You do?
Yeah, I use Ground News. Sorry.
That's okay.
You can get the app. We get a little tiny spit.
It's
because
just
a couple
new
bucks.
to me.
Unbelievable website. It actually lays out any particular topic, letting you know how many have published it and whether they're center, lean left. You see that? Center or lean left. They tell you which news outlets are covering the particular topic. You can also, I suggest you do. It's actually my number one tool right now. Because any one particular topic can be covered by 3 outlets, and you get 3 completely different perspectives. They let you know. This is left-leaning, here's center, here's right.
Yeah.
Okay? I love that because I don't click on the left ones and expect to get, good information, right?
True.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
well, I have one thing, and then we'll go to General Flynn, if you don't mind, because I have a feeling this may be, this is going to be a huge topic in the next week or so. I follow Chris Ann Hall. I think she's probably one of the finest constitutional attorneys, teachers that out there. If you don't follow her, you should. You're not going to always like what she has to say because she goes by the Constitution. But I've learned to trust her analysis of what is happening constitutionally in real time. So this week we had President Trump say that he is leashing, he's taking control of the D.C. police, right? And he is he's calling the National Guard to come out and supervise that. I think there are 800 National Guard that are now on the ground, and that's all he expects to put out there. A lot of their work is going to be administrative and overseeing, and only if they have to will they go out to the street, is what I'm understanding. But here's what she says about this situation constitutionally, because I was wondering myself. She said, this may not be the popular answer, but it is the constitutional one. We must be very careful about inviting federal government to police our cities. For the states, the Constitution deliberately denies Washington, D.C. and federal agencies jurisdiction over local law enforcement because the people must control their own communities and the people cannot control the federal government. Washington, D.C., however, is different. It is not a state. It is not covered by the 10th Amendment, and its only real local protection is the Home Rule Act of 1973. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, gives Congress exclusive authority over the district, and Congress has delegated most day-to-day policing to D.C.'s local government, at least until it decides otherwise. That means the president's executive agencies have a freer hand in D.C. than in any state.
That's right.
But only under the direction of Congress. But here's the danger. If we normalize federal policing in D.C. under the plea of necessity, it will be used as precedent to spread into the states. And he's already talking about that.
He said it right in the first conference. Yeah.
Expanding federal policing powers turns them into a standing army. Maybe not under this president, but the next one could use that power to rule America's streets like a political king. That's not safety. That's the road to tyranny. It is important to notice that the D.C. state movement is trying to capitalize on this crisis. However, making D.C. a state would not solve problems. It would amplify them. The founders were very deliberate in making sure Washington, D.C. would never be a state. They knew that if the seat of the federal government were inside of state borders, that state would gain dangerous leverage over the entire nation. Imagine if Congress, the president, and the Supreme Court were all physically located in a state whose governor could block access, cut off resources, or use its laws to interfere.
Like Muriel Bowser.
Yep, interfere with federal operations. That state could hold the entire union hostage.
That's right.
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 gives Congress exclusive legislative authority over the Capitol to prevent that abuse. By keeping D.C. independent, they ensured no single state that could dominate or intimidate the federal government. Turning D.C. into a state would undo that safeguard and create the very imbalance of power the Constitution was designed to prevent. Now, who will share and teach this truth? I hope that that I did my job here, because I think that is something people need to hear, and we need to be very wary. All right, we trust the president to do the right thing, and that it is a crisis, right? But we also need to be very adamant and urge him not to do this in other states.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
I am.
I'm not.
I am.
Because, I'm not.
Well, it's unconstitutional.
You don't
have to go that far.
No, it's okay. Listen, as a matter of fact, I'm not trying to persuade you. You take your position, and it's the position to take. Chrisanne Hall's position is the position to take.
It is.
Under normal circumstances. We're right in the middle of a coup, and they have weaponized violence. They've weaponized the metro areas. They've actually not only basically you're talking about rules and regulations for how to put out a fire, right? That occurs from time to time. We're talking about arsonists that are strategically setting these fires. Okay, they have destroyed the metro areas. They've, through the Central Intelligence Agency, trafficked how many drugs? They've destroyed the family unit, the Black American family. I mean, they don't even know who their baby daddy is. Things are so out of control. We have a national emergency, and it's not limited to one area. I believe it requires extraordinary power that is available to him. He could do it.
Well, somebody says yes, but Washington, D.C. is a captured globalist operation. Running.
Who said that?
Somebody in the thread.
Well, what's their name?
Hardly Abelson.
Hardly Abelson is my hero.
Yes, but he says, but Washington, D.C. is a captured globalist operation running as a corporation, and it must be returned to the Republic. President Trump is in the process of doing exactly that. And Chrisanne Hall actually answered him by saying, those who would trade liberty for temporary security will soon have neither. What is the cost of your return to order? What are you willing to give up?
Yeah. All right, this is
it's very tricky. And all she's saying here, she's not saying that he doesn't have the right to do it. She's not saying, although she says the governor of D.C., the District of Columbia, is Congress.
Yes.
They are the governor of, and he's going to have to sooner or later answer to that.
Yeah.
She's saying, all she's saying is here, we need to tread lightly and we need to be on our toes. And this does not need to spread out to the states.
Yes. Okay.
We need to convince our state.
I appreciate it.
No, we need to convince our states unilaterally, our governor, to do it.
Okay. Here's the bottom line with that answer. Not
okay, but it's not constitutional.
Don't say okay, but okay. Well, guess what else is not constitutional?
What?
The election fraud that seated half of the communists in the states.
I agree.
And I'm going to be beholden to a bunch of governors and communist states that were seated by George Soros. And you're saying, let's go by the Constitution and let them make a decision. No, absolutely not. No. Yeah. You know what? Let's go in there with guns, shove the governor on his face and say, get out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. We can't do that. But this is what under normal... No, as a matter of fact, I don't want to do that. Don't shove the governor on his face. Just do me a favor. Temporarily make President Trump the penis potato boat.
Now, I don't know if under...
What's that mean?
I don't know if under...
What does penis potato boat mean?
A dictator. I don't know if under an emergency, if he could call an emergency.
He already has one.
If those things would change. I haven't talked to Chrisanne. I'd like to. But she's strict. She's very strict constitutionalist.
Right, but I'm very strict. I'm very strict constitutionalist as well, without having been overthrown in a coup d'état. In the counter coup, we have to use executive authority, reset the playing field, we redo the elections. Okay, free and fair elections. Listen, if California wants a communist running them, just let it happen. But you can't trust any vote that's ever been done over the past 10, 20 years. You can't. So I don't want to rely upon an adjacent state that has a communist governor that was seated by election fraud.
Well, Bad Moon...
Do you understand?
Bad Moon says... Here, it's moving kind of quickly here. Harboring illegals get you arrested no matter your position in the state.
Yes.
And that's what's been happening here. In some states, it gets you arrested. Some states, it gets you not arrested and set free to murder and rape young girls.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So that's the problem we're having.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let me start segueing, okay? Speaking of constitutionalist, all right? General Michael Flynn. It's what I need everybody to do. This is absolutely mandatory, okay? Want your voice to be heard as well. When we come back, right before we go to Bevel and Beatty Williams, this will go out to millions of people. It's going to go out to millions of people. What I need you to do is, if you're catching this broadcast with General Michael Flynn, I want you to understand that when I mention his writings, it has everything to do with this. And it's not, we're not just selling books. I literally have writing manuals where I heard for the first time, we are in 5th generational warfare, and this is what it looks like in his books. Helped educate me.
Yeah.
And that was by General Flynn. So over the past several years, his writings, I've learned a lot. And to this day, people are learning a lot. He wrote an article on diplomacy. All right. Our State Department has it. They're distributing it. It's great advice.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to know that this book that we refer to, Pardon of Innocence, we're going to put the link down below. You not only need to say, oh, let's just support General Flynn by buying us. No. These are guidebooks for how we're going to get out of this mess and still deal with the constitutional issues.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
It's going to require a military transition back to a constitutional restoration in this counter coup. This is a coup d'etat. General Flynn comes on, and we're talking about countering the coup. How appropriate that we're on this particular episode right now. You know what I'm going to do is, just because of time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to forego the break.
You're going to go right into it.
I'm going to go right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon of Innocence, a guidebook. We need to get his entire library out there, all right?
Yeah.
We're not just selling books, and you'll see why here momentarily, okay? Without further ado, General Flynn. Now, this is going to go out to millions of people. If he shares it just on his platform alone, Roger Stone's going to share it. He's going to share it. You're going to hear about John Brennan. This is an important episode right here on LFA TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly say that that General Michael Flynn right now, and not to quote unquote suck up to my guests, I think it's real important that I say that there's certain people on our team that are extremely important at this point in time. Yesterday we talked about the counter to the coup. Somebody that's been, of course, a target of the coup early on was General Michael Flynn. His voice and his messaging and his distribution outlets for years I've been benefiting from. I heard the term fifth generational styled warfare way back when. I also remember as a content producer being part of a team of talk show hosts where General Michael Flynn said, look at the whole Q phenomenon is great. People are gathering information, but people are sitting at home, and it's going to be up to us to save our country. We have to get vigorous. We have to get organized. We have to vote these people out. That was very, very early on. For years now. But right now, even more so, I'm not even going to say vindication. I'm sure I'll ask him if he feels vindication. We're countering the coup. He's an important voice. And that's why I wanted to bring him on at this very important time. General Michael Flynn, welcome back to the Pete Santilli Show. It's been a long time, sir.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate the invite and your voice and everything we've been doing and what's being exposed right now. So yeah, it's an incredible moment in U.S. history, and if we don't get this right, we're going to lose this country.
Yes, sir. And there's an adversary that you and I know very, very well, that they'll make adjustments based on every single move that we make, and their adjustments are going to come with, of course, with malice. They want to, and they've done a very good job taking us out. But every single move we make, they're going to make counter moves, and they're not going to go quickly, are they?
No, they're not going to go quickly, nor are they going to. They're going to demand that there's law, that there's democracy, that there's all these righteous things that they believe, that they're being now persecuted over, and when in fact they don't believe any of that. These people are demonic. They are evil. They are wanting to destroy this country. And I appreciate, Pete, your a little bit upfront description of myself. I mean, I've been very consistent. I've been consistent for a long time, even before I rode with Trump. I'm talking going back as far as 2014. I posted a video of Devin Nunes this morning talking about back in 2014 when they were after me. Because when they don't own you, they are afraid of you, and they will try to destroy you. And they figured out a way to get me out of the government, certainly, but they didn't. Like I said, even with Trump, right? They tried to kill Trump twice. That is public, that we've publicly seen. And I know that they've talked about, making the mistake of not killing me when they should have, when they had the chance, right? But whereas now I'm a much higher profile, and my voice does matter, because people are going, oh my God, this guy's been saying this for a long, long time. He's served at a very, very high level of government, the highest levels of government. And we should not believe for a second that these people that hate this country and want to destroy it are going to suddenly change because a couple of people are held to account. And those people haven't been held to account yet. Nobody has.
No, they haven't. And I love what was said by J.D. Vance in an interview he did on the Gateway Pundit. We're very different than they are. We have to cross our T's, dot our I's, make sure that if there's a crime that's alleged and we can prosecute, that we will do so based on the information that we've gathered, not just because, we feel butthurt.
Yeah, but let me jump in, because there's a big misnomer out there, Pete, and I want to make sure that I clear it up. For a lot of people, and you have a good sized audience too, and I appreciate that. You worked hard to get that great audience. They trust what you put out. That's why they're your audience. But the misnomer is that we've got to bring these into the courts of law, and we've got to, there's got to be laws that we follow, which is true. That is a very true statement. We have to use our justice system. But I want people to understand that there are also things that a president of the United States must do in order to preserve the Constitution of the United States of America and to preserve the constitutional order of our country. And in many cases, those are for reasons that people don't necessarily or won't necessarily always understand. And that's where we use the two words, national security.
Yes, sir.
So for the preservation of the United States of America, if the president of the United States feels that the preservation of the Constitution is at risk, which it is, he has the authority by the Constitution to take necessary action to either eliminate that, or certainly to make that threat far less than it is. And that might mean that he makes decisions, unilateral decisions, just as Abraham Lincoln did. And he did, as other presidents. Grant did as well when he was president, and there were others. Roosevelt did when he was president. There are, for purposes of national security, decisions that a president makes because he's been given the authority to do so by the people of this country, by the mandate, in this case, Trump's mandate, but by the majority of the people in this country. We've given him the authority to make decisions based on what he thinks is best for the preservation of the Constitution of the United States. Not everything has to be turned over to a special counsel, investigated ad nauseum, and go in front of some judge who we now know the judges in our country, a large segment apparently seem to be left-leaning and corrupt. So, that people need to understand that.
I want to just interject a quick point. I have limited time with you, so I just want to make this point. I understand what you're saying. In fact, the federal system itself, all the judges, they're corrupt, all of that stuff. And way back when, to bring civilians into, like, let's say a military tribunal, the Supreme Court's already said, can't do that, got to have due process if there's a civilian up to and including the president. So it has to be in the regular judiciary. But there's nothing to prohibit him from saying, here's your federal judiciary. It's at this courthouse, this judge. And the motions won't be necessarily favored as they normally would with a corrupt judge on the bench. But it could be dealt with swiftly in a civilian court, correct? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, here we are, two guys, and I don't think you're a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not.
Here we are arguing about constitutional law. There are paths for constitutional law and for that system to function the way it's supposed to function. But we are talking about a coup,
yes,
which is not in question anymore. It is not. There is no question that a coup was attempted, and then it was successful in 2020. And we were damn lucky that Trump didn't have that bullet go through his head. It only nipped his head.
My God.
We're lucky. Otherwise, I'm not sure where we would be right now as a nation. So the president of the United States has extraordinary authorities to take action to subdue those plotters of a coup to take over the United States of America, which is not in question any longer. This is not about my vindication. That's all bullshit. This is about what these people attempted to do. They are still attempting to do it. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what President Trump does. In the meantime, Pete, he's got to take care of all of the problems internally to this country. We still have massive amounts of illegals in this country committing crimes. Oh, yeah. We've got multiple wars going on overseas. There's still, I think, 50, 60 hostages. There's a lot of hostages still being held by Hamas. And we're talking about Hamas as though there's some refined group. I mean, we're talking about, an upcoming meeting between two of the greatest nuclear powers on the planet, Putin, Russia and America, Putin and Trump, in another couple of days. These are monumental, historic, things that are occurring.
Consequential.
All while there is still a conspiracy to take over this country ongoing.
Oh, yes.
That has to end. It's not going to end with a special counsel or a couple of prosecutors in the Department of Justice. It will only end when the President of the United States decides that it's over. And once he decides that it's over, he has the full authority to take the appropriate action per the Constitution to be able to do that.
Yes, sir. Relative, and I just want to touch on this, and like I said, because we have limited time, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, I want to touch on this. He, in his emergency or national emergency declarations, let's say down on the border, either he's not being advised properly, but there's a lot of power that comes with that. For instance, when you protect the border and you declare a national emergency, that includes, and FEMA already set this up, 100 miles from the coast, let's say California. That includes Los Angeles. Within that area, the city in the national emergency declaration, that mayor has zero jurisdiction during that emergency. So is President Trump not being advised as to his true power? Or do you think he's kind of using a measured approach here as we advance towards what we know is coming, and that is roadblocks? Yeah.
Yeah. So all the nut jobs on the left, and many of them are graduates of Ivy League schools. Many of them are lawyers. They're fanatics, and they're fanatics about the direction that they want this country to go, which is towards a very, very strong Marxist socialist country. So let's just use the drug cartel, MS-13. Everybody knows about MS-13. We know that they're in damn near every city of this country. Well, MS-13 is now a designated foreign terrorist organization because the President of the United States went ahead and designated drug cartels, Sinaloa drug cartel, Cartel del Sol, Tren de la Agua out of Venezuela. Cartel del Sol is the umbrella organization for TDA. They're now designated as foreign terrorist organizations. Well, if that's the case, Pete, then an MS-13 is like, let's say they're operating in Pittsburgh, or they're operating in LA or Seattle or Atlanta. That means that, and if they're a designated foreign terrorist organization, does that not mean that we can apply other types of resources like U.S. military special operations, counterterrorism, elite forces against those capabilities? Because these are military-like organizations. That's one of the reasons why they were designated foreign terrorists. So now we're in a weird place, because when we talk about foreign and domestic, there are going to be things. It's just like what Trump is looking to do here. I'm in Washington, D.C. right now. It's what he's looking to do here in Washington, D.C. to potentially use military capabilities to be able to subdue the crimes that are going on in Washington, D.C. So this is why the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, Department of the Interior, and the Department of Defense are now going to have to adjust and work vastly more closely together than they ever have to get after these, what used to be criminal cartels are now foreign terrorist organizations. That's a big difference, with different authorities, different capabilities, and different rules to follow in order to defeat these grave threats that we have to the people of this country. And they're right here in our own country. They're inside of the contiguous borders of the 48 states here.
Yes, sir. And in the remaining moments that I have with you, and by the way, I just want to let everybody know, when I talk about General Flynn's writings, whether it be in a pamphlet as to how to learn fifth generational style warfare, or your relentless blog posts that it could basically give the entire State Department. I mean, there was a great manual, by the way. I'm not just saying this. I read it, Diplomacy and Applying what you recently wrote on your blog post and your the books
10 rules of diplomacy.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about. People need to read it. I'm told that some of that made its way over to the White House, and some of it made its way over to the State Department. It should.
Yes.
People need to read it, and they need to pay attention.
Yes, and I'm going to, outside of this interview, because of time, I'm going to review a lot of things that I know about your case and leading up to the book, Pardon of Innocence. But, sir, your writings, your service to our nation at this important time, I'm not going to call you a victim. They pursued you. I believe that you also deserve to be, I say, made whole. Listen, there's a lot of people they were put in jail, from General Michael Flynn to somebody that a no-name January 6er that was targeted by our system. And not only do we need to hold people accountable, but make things right. We don't do that to Americans. We used to go rescue hostages in foreign lands. We have hostages of this coup d'etat that have been so destroyed. But, sir, in the remaining moments, as we go forward here, you've advised people and said you need to keep an eye on people like John Brennan. We now have a rumor that John Brennan may have fled the country. Roger Post posted up on that. We need to take action to hold people accountable. That's evidence, of course, and their testimony. And then we can never really fully repair our nation until we make things that make everyone whole with the damages that have been caused, correct?
Yeah. So let me tell you one quick story before I have to go, Pete. And thank you to you.
I'll let
and
you
your
close
audience.
out. Thank you.
This weekend we had a great celebration with Rudy Giuliani, Roger Stone, Lara Logan, and some others. The Gateway Pundit sponsored it. It was a wonderful celebration out in Las Vegas. I met a Captain Chris Kuhn, a former United States, Marine Corps captain, Bronze Star, Marine Commendation Medal with Valor, Marine Achievement Medal with Valor. He was at the Capitol on January 6th, and he actually saved the life of an individual who I think the story was the guy got hit by a canister of tear gas, got knocked down, was being dragged by the crowd. He actually pulled him out and he saved the guy. He should have been awarded a hero's medal. Instead, the FBI with like hundreds of agents swarmed his house, swatted his house in the middle of the night, dragged him, his young son, who was about 5, maybe 6 years old at the time, and I saw the video, and his wife out of their bed. They got long guns pointed at him, and right at the kid's head, right at the son's head, they got long guns pointed at his wife, at him. They dragged him outside 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, as we've all seen what they did to Roger Stone. And the sad thing, and he ended up going to prison. And then, of course, the night of the election, he's in his prison cell. I mean, this guy should have been hailed as a hero, but the Department of Justice and the FBI went after this great patriot. His wife she was pregnant, during that raid, and she ended up having a miscarriage the next day. So they lost a child. They lost their child, a potential beautiful child. They lost that child in less than 24 hours because the wife had a miscarriage because of the stress that was put on them from that raid. Those bastards, And I hope Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are watching this. But the person that led that raid, they ought to be brought in immediately and investigated, and probably they ought to be thrown in prison for what they did.
Oh yes.
I mean, I am sick and tired of it, and the American people are sick and tired of it. I'm telling you, and I got we're working hard. We're going to hold people accountable. Let's see it and let's hear it. And American people are ready for it. We are steady, and we're going to remain steady. But after I heard that story, and I remember seeing the video because I saw the kid, big strapping, former Marine, great guy. He fought for our country, and these bastards did this to him and his family, and now he's having to recover from all this shit, right? As a young family, I met his son that was there that night, that had the long gun pointed at his head, right in the back of his head. So, like, the kid was 5, 6 years old. He's like 10 now. Beautiful young man. And I gave him a big hug, and I'm like thinking to myself, these sons of bitches. I mean, they did this because they could, and they got away with it. They're getting away with it. So as far as I'm concerned, the FBI and the CIA, they need to be raised to the ground. If there's a reform that needs to go on, there is some ideas about maybe bringing these types of organizations together, recreating this thing. We can't keep having this. We can't. That's the definition of insanity, right? I mean, the old adage about doing stuff over and over. So, Pete,
General
thanks for
Flynn,
having me on.
One last comment. Tell me if
quick.
I'm off base a little bit. If I did anything like allow 9/11 hijackers into the country from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, I'd have my front door busted in. John Brennan, I have to watch on MSNBC. He needs his door busted down, doesn't he?
I think what needs to happen is the president of the United States, he's going to need to really he's going to need to bring that team together, and he needs to say, okay, look, first, is the rumor about Brennan leaving the country, is that true? I mean, I've talked about pulling passports, but what is it that we are going to do, right? Mm-hmm. How is it that we are going to hold people accountable? Amen. We're talking a lot about it, but the American people want action.
Yes.
All of this stuff going on overseas, it's the president has to solve this problem because we can't escalate into nuclear war. But we have some challenge. We are facing a coup d'etat in this country, and it hasn't ended. Yep. So let's end it by holding those accountable, bringing justice to bear, and let's get over this. And I'll tell you, back to that example that I just gave you of Captain Chris Coon. I mean, those people that were part of that, the special agent in charge of that raid, he needs to be hung out to dry. That guy needs to be brought in, investigated. Yes. Maybe he needs to be, have his passport, have his information, his clearances pulled.
That's right.
I'm done with the, it's only a few people at the top bullshit. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm planting my flag here in Washington, D.C. because I am adamant that we are going to we must have accountability in this country in order to move this country forward, Pete. I'm sorry.
Amen. Thank you for everything you do. And again, you have my commitment. I'll continue to promote. We'll put the links down below. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the Kindle version and the hard copy. Yep. Everybody should have, and we'll review that after this segment right here because I need to make some important points. Sir, I salute you. I thank you very much.
Great, Pete. Thank you. God bless.
Very much. You too. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just poke to a couple of things in Pardon of Innocence. It's an important book. General Flynn's writings are extremely important. Now, you hear a little bit of agitation in his voice, and it's probably exponentially far greater in each and every one of you. So what do we do? General Flynn has stepped up early on and led us and said, it's up to we, the people. Okay? So a lot we can do. We're gonna talk about that right after we come back from this break. And like I said, we're going to forego the break because of time. We have, it's a 2-hour show. There's not enough time. I'm just kidding.
There's plenty
1 hour
of time.
show. There's not enough time.
Oh, there's plenty of time.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just emphasize a couple points here, if I may. There we go. Fantastic. Excellent. Just want to make sure no audio's leaking here. Emphasize a couple points. You ready? Mm-hmm. When I say I subscribe to General Flynn's writings, you see these books on it's a Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. Field of Fight to Fifth Generational Style Warfare to his most recent book, Pardon of Innocence, is a guidebook that allows you to peer into his life, but he gives takeaways like you would not believe. I guarantee you, will learn stuff. So pick up Pardon of Innocence, an aspiring story of faith and freedom about General Flynn. Pick up the Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generational Style Warfare that, I heard that term and the exact mechanics of it for the first time with General Flynn. And, I've been I've been actually helped the family out way back when even the Trump administration had gone by the establishment and abandoned General Flynn. Yeah. They didn't know if he was like a Russian spy. What could he have done? They didn't know. right? So I was with the family through his criminal proceedings.
Yes.
Helping Sidney Powell with discovery. So I've been in the trenches with General Flynn.
You have.
And all the people around the internet speaking internet stuff. You know, I don't trust him. Well, how do you establish trust in your underwear at home? You know, sitting at your keyboard. I don't trust him. But you don't know him, okay? And I've gotten to know him over many, many years.
Let me tell you guys how long Pete's been at this with General Flynn. Because a lot of people are like, how do you get Flynn on? And this is how. Because when General Flynn was going through what he was going through and he was on a gag order, Pete built a relationship with his brother.
Yep, Joe Flynn.
Brother came on our show starting in when? 2019?
The Trump administration would not talk to anybody. They thought that he was a Russian spy.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally
they
thought.
couldn't because they weren't sure what was happening.
Right. Yeah.
And so it took time, but eventually it all came out in the wash, let's say. And Pete was always on General Flynn's side. General Flynn was not allowed to talk.
Never left the side. Yep.
He was not allowed to talk to anybody. His brother came on our show, at least 2 or 3 times a month to give us updates, give us encouragement. So we got to know him that way. And then, of course, when he was able to, guess what happened? Pete and General Flynn became pretty good friends.
Yeah.
And we have supported him. Our audience has supported him. We've bought books, and we
learned from him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so that's how it's been a very long relationship that you've built.
That's right. And here it is. I want to make a couple of points on pardon of innocence. Okay, pardon of innocence. Table of contents from acknowledgement. The forward by Lee Smith. If you don't know who Lee Smith is, you need to. Okay, you need to know who Lee Smith is, and you need to look him up. Lee Smith is a great investigator. From Razor's Edge, family is my foundation. Soldier, leader, husband, father, fixing intelligence. See, he gets right into it. By chapter 4, here's my point. He's already giving marching orders, how to fix intelligence, directing intelligence, his dealing with civilian life, on the campaign, a transition like war, assassination of General Michael Flynn by narrative. Doesn't it sound powerful?
It
Assassination
does.
by narrative. Get Flynn, aftershocks, justice betrayed, letters from America, fraud and corruption run rampant, and America's future. And then onward to this book, how the Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. Ladies and gentlemen, pick these up. You don't just throw them in your library or think that you're doing it to support General Flynn. He gets plenty of support. We'll get plenty of support. I want to share this material. I believe that everyone needs to have. When I read this book, Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generational Style Warfare, How to Fight Artificial Intelligence. Did you've heard me actually recite stuff that's in here.
Yes.
Without giving full credit to where I got it. Okay? He understands the warfare that's perpetrated through the technocracy. How do I know? Because he was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. He was fighting the war through the technocracy right now that he knows is being used against us. Okay? So, perfect segue right now to getting set up for Bevelyn. Bevelyn Beatty Williams. I'm sure her husband does not mind. I don't want to, of course, dishonor him by just insisting on calling her Bevelyn Beatty. But Bevelyn Beatty, right, certainly attracted a very fine young man, stalwart, solid Christian man, Mr. Williams. Maybe one day I want to bring him on and interview him. All right, everybody, stay right there, and we will be back with Bevelin right after this.
Hey guys, you know what really stinks about buying big brand soaps and bathroom cosmetics? The fact that they don't leave you smelling like a felon. And, you know, they're just riddled with chemicals that actually do far more harm than good. So why not go organic? Why not go right to the root of how to clean yourself, ladies and gentlemen, by going to goat milk soap? Goat milk products, you know, like the ones you can get at OFP Farms. I'm talking goat milk bars of soap, and big ones too, not these tiny little bars that cost you an arm and leg. Big, beautiful bars of soap, okay? Big, beautiful bars of soap, beard oils, lotions, bath bombs, lip balms, deodorants, linen spray, magnesium. Some might say it's like, oh, I don't know, Christmas in June or Christmas coming up in July. At least that's what OFP Farms says. OFPFarms.com, promo code RISEUP. That is OFPFarms.com, promo code RISEUP, and you're going to get 15% off. Look at that ginger, citrus, goat, milk, and tallow hand body lotion. Are you kidding me? Talk about a great present to get somebody. Talk about pampering yourself for a change, right? Ask anybody in the chat who uses OFP Farms. I'll guarantee you they'll tell you, I can't use anything else. OFPFarms.com, promo code RISEUP. OFPFarms.com, promo code RISEUP. I mean, if it's good enough for God on this show, it's good enough for all of us. OFPFarms.com, promo code RISEUP. Hey, everyone. I really hope you are enjoying the program today, and I hope you enjoy LFA TV as a whole, because let's face it, we're not getting any younger. However, if there was a way to slow down our aging and live a little bit longer, would we do it? I think we would. You ever heard of Fatty 15, folks? Well, Fatty 15 is a brand new supplement that has C15 in it. You might ask, what's C15? Well, C15 is the first fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years that actually prolongs your life. Over 100 studies over many years were done on dolphins because these two doctors were in charge of basically increasing the dolphin population. So they started introducing this fatty acid called C15. And what they found was something amazing. The dolphins were living longer and the dolphin pods were growing bigger. It was an amazing discovery. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can get C15 introduced into your life to slow down the aging process of your cells. And it's not only going to make you feel and you look younger, but it's going to make your body think it is younger, which means you're going to start doing more things again. There's a thing called cellular fragility syndrome. And cellular fragility syndrome happens as we get older. This is going to reverse it, folks. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That is fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Get your discount today, folks, and start this new journey to help you live longer. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA today.
Supposed to see
now,
it happen this way.
Back to the program.
China
Thank you very
has
much.
Successfully broken RSA encryption.
Massive data breach reported. Over 100 million financial records exposed.
Critical infrastructure at risk.
The AI apocalypse has already begun.
Pentagon officials warn of autonomous AI infiltrating U.S. power grids.
Yeah, the AI apocalypse has officially begun.
While governments debated and corporations slept, the founders of QUX were prepared. They knew it was coming, so they built the shield, post-quantum encryption that no AI system can breach. Banks aren't ready. The system won't save you.
Can't get a signal.
Those who hesitate are playing with fate.
We thank you for your data. Your signals are no longer your own. Your choices are now made for you.
This can't be real. It's happening.
Okay. I wanted to do, as I always do, formally for a guest that our viewers may not know, our listeners may not know. And if you're on our podcast, by the way, welcome. You're in for a treat here. And all of our viewers on LFA TV, if you don't know the name, you know, it's not your fault. It's not her fault. It's not my fault. There's a reason why they took my next guest and put her in a box for some time, because she is a powerful, powerful woman. That my best introduction of her is as follows. First time I came across the name, and her name was Bevelyn Beatty at the time. I watched a video of her outside on a street corner. I think it was in New York City, and there was these demonic ladies, and like they were dressed up like demonic nuns, and it was just crazy. And I knew she was up against evil, but her powerful force with God over her, she could walk through that valley of the shadow of death and fear absolutely no evil, and she never has. And they were powerless against her, and we all are with God over us. But I am a pro-life activist. What does that mean? An activist. I was an activist way back when I drove all the way across the country to convince my high school sweetheart, very rich, I might add. Her whole family had to take her in for the abortion. I was an activist back then and said, you know, I'm going to be there. That's your choice, your body, whatever your family says. You know, you got to go to college and kill the baby, you know. But I just want you to know, if you're going to kill the baby, it's your choice. I'll be there with you and remind you what you're doing. You're killing a baby. You're killing my baby. So I was an activist back then. I rode a bus, paid for it myself, from New York City all the way to Arizona. She may not have ever heard this. So I didn't know how to be a Christian. You know, I was a Roman Catholic, a rough and tumble New Yorker with a really strong accent. But man, there was no deviating. When I was, 10 years old, I understood, what life was. And 17 when she got pregnant. So a pro-life activist. When I call her a pro-life activist, that's almost an understatement. Well, her journey has been documented and put into a full-length feature film, okay? And I'm going to play the trailer for you. This is not only big, it's going to be censored, and we're basically going to, we're going to go to church, okay? The church will rise up. There's no technocracy. There is no establishment that could ever silence Bevelyn Beatty Williams, and no establishment is going to censor a movie like this right here.
A woman told me, you need to surrender your life to Christ because there's nothing left but death for me. We're out here raising funds for the girls, and this is just not for food and shelter, but this is also for education, leadership. I can give you this money, but really what matters is
guess
if these
what?
Girls have Jesus in their heart.
I'm going to say very appropriately, ladies and gentlemen, pardon me. You're going to have to pardon me because something happened with the download, and I'm going to have to start it again. Here we go.
Old, a woman told me, you need to surrender your life to Christ because there's nothing left but death for me. We're out here raising funds for the girls, and this is just not for food and shelter, but this is also for education, leadership. I can give you this money, but really what matters is if these girls have Jesus in their heart. Jesus matters.
The governor of New York has announced the passage of new legislation allowing abortion up to the 9th month of pregnancy.
Let's do something about this.
You know what? Let's do something about it.
We at it again.
We at it again.
Let's go.
And leave. That's what you gonna do? Yo, these kids came out for one thing and one thing only. And that's to destroy.
Wow, Bevelyn. Your life, even up to this point, is incredible. Mrs. Williams?
Yes?
Agent Teresa Wheeler, FBI.
The bail for both defendants is set at $30,000 each. Additionally, neither of you may leave the Southern District of Tennessee or the Southern District of New York without prior permission from this court.
What if deferred choice? And this is not about justice. This is about shutting y'all down.
Yelling at the women, calling them murderers, and baby killers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite the ride.
23 people were prosecuted.
Trial date is set for February 12th. I'll see you then, back in my court.
Bevelyn Beatty Williams, please tell your husband no dishonor to him. You know what? I'm going to bring him on for an interview. I need to talk to him. He's a great man. But welcome back to the Pete Santilli Show. Well,
thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You know, before we get started, I want to say, you know, like seeing you in the trailer in an orange jumpsuit. Okay, that evokes a lot of emotions. We're not going to talk about me, but I've been forged in the fire as well. Okay. But to see you in that orange jumpsuit in the movie, just that depicted, I knew what that meant. But God has chosen certain people to go through those things, and that I know that I have come out 1,000 times stronger, and I have testimony that we'll talk about during this episode. But can you say, although of course you've got babies, your husband, you had your entire life, you never thought that they would do such a thing to you. Do you feel you're going to be much stronger on the other side of this thing? You're starting to feel that strength now?
Right. Interesting, being in prison for two things to learn. It's not that I didn't have faith, but the test was so damn. I did 3 months. It has 3.5. But I never thought I'm going to do 3. I knew I was going to do. I knew that I was going to do.
Bevelyn, let me, and I'm sorry to interrupt here, and I'll chop this out on the segment that we send out. But right now your phone's chopping. So if it continues, yeah, it's kind of chopping. Yeah, maybe talk a little bit closer to it. It'll stop that. But I just want to make sure that it doesn't continue, and if it does, then we'll just do a reconnection. Zoom is weird like that. Repeat your last sentence.
Still chopping.
Good. We're good right now.
Okay. Still good?
Yeah, just talk closer and you'll be fine. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So, for me, being in prison, it wasn't necessarily my faith being strong. It was more so, it wasn't a sense, but it's like the faith was there, but the test. I never, my mind, that I was staying in prison 3.5 years coming home. I knew that. I knew that it was me. But what prison taught me, and I feel like you can, is I knew who I was. Let me know, can you see? I'm good? So, you'll relate when you have a lot to everything, like whether it's homosexuality, drugs, it's laid before you. And I find it, let's just say a little bit in drugs on the outside, you're going to be a full person. If you've dabbled in sexuality, you're going to be a full-blown homosexual in prison. But the reality is, for me, I was a Christian, and in prison, it was magnified. Like, it just stood out. my faith in Christ. It stood out heavy.
You know, Bevelyn, and like I said, I'm going to chop out that segment. It was choppy. I made the adjustments on the Zoom line, so my sincerest apologies. Don't think we're unprofessional.
So we're good now? Because I'm getting nervous. Like, we're good to talk?
No, we're perfect. As a matter of fact, what I want to do, I'm going to chop that segment out completely. You'll never see it, okay? So I want you to, we'll continue the conversation in the following regard. You want me to tell my testimony real quick?
Please.
So I'm a Roman Catholic my whole life. I was an altar boy ever since our family owned a church in Italy. And so we're talking devout Roman Catholics, but nobody ever, I never read the Bible. Nobody ever told me to read the Bible. And I went, many, many decades. And I was, they wouldn't release me because I was such a danger to society as a talk show host. Having people on like Bevelyn, Beatty Williams, got to stop that, of course. But I was told by a friend, make good use of your time. Read the Bible. And I set out as a United States Marine, hard-headed, and I said, I'm going to read the Bible. I never have. It's always been read to me. I was in 7 months of solitary confinement, and I read it from cover to cover. It made, really, Genesis is great. There were parts, it was all gibberish to me. I wasn't understanding what I was reading, but I was reading it, and I was determined. I said, I'm going to do this. And it wasn't until Matthew when I started to read the story of the parables and recognizing that I was not ready yet to receive his word. I called the Bible a historical document before that. Well, guess what? Bevel, I'm telling you, this is in jail, in prison scrubs, in solitary confinement. I got down on my knees. I understood what was happening. Everything came to me almost 3D holographic. And I said, Lord, thank you so much for being so patient with me until this moment. I wasn't ready to receive your word. I got down on my knees, and this is what I did. I said, I face 4 life sentences. I said, if you want me to do your work inside, that's what I'll do. I accept your will, Lord, wholeheartedly. Whatever your will is, that's what I'll do. And I said, but if you bring a miracle, I'm going to give you all due glory when I come out. I promise you that I will do that every single day. And I said, it's up to you. I accept your will. And I said, Lord, I do think it's a waste of talent if you keep me in here. I want to be on the outside. I can do some good broadcasting and put the word out there. And you know what he did? He walked me out the door.
Right.
He walked me out the door. I'm living testament to God exists. The word of God is there. And he uses certain individuals like us in some way, shape, or form to do his work. Do you agree with that, Bevelyn?
Man, I tell people all the time, you can claim to be a Christian, but until you've read New Testament, and I tell baby Christians, don't worry about Old Testament right now. Read New Testament. And you have to read it. The Matthew's itself is so powerful, and you can read it right now today after reading it 10 years ago, and Jesus's words will come back to life in a new, refreshed way. Like his word lives. Peter said, listen, where will we go? You're the one that give the words of life. It's true. And then the epistles. I don't even want to get started on Paul. All of these Roman Catholic churches were built on, they say Peter, but without Paul, for real, it really wouldn't have been established. Paul was the head runner to bring the gospel to Gentiles, like you Italians. He was killed in Rome for that. And I think Peter was crucified too. But the thing is, people like to build stuff. Like, you know what they do? It's similar to what Jesus did when he saw, what Peter did when he saw Jesus on the mountain and Moses and Elijah appeared. And the first thing he thought to do was, let's build a monument here. So you have these churches that are building these monuments in these grand buildings. And I've been to Italy. I saw the what's his name? Saint Bartholomew's Basilica in Amalfi Coast. Beautiful. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, Amalfi's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to the churches there just to see it.
Yeah.
But what blew my mind is like, wow, they don't understand Jesus and Paul through the scriptures. They're not getting what these people did and what they're saying. And like the work, I know when you read New Testament and as those parables was hitting you, you were getting slapped left and right.
Oh, my goodness.
It's the realest book ever written.
Yes.
There's nothing realer than the words of Jesus Christ. And Paul just gangster with it. He's just going to come and G-check you and straighten you back up to Christ. But Jesus, he just, he exposes everything and just checks you. It's a beautiful book.
Yes.
It's a history book, yes, in a sense.
It is.
But it's a love story. And it is a powerful story. And I feel sorry for those who don't want to read it because you're missing out.
Yes, and and that is, and I'm glad we had this discussion right now before I start talking about your quote unquote, when I said activism, like me, I'm a pro-life activist too. I'm an activist because I got on a Greyhound bus and drove across the country to try to stop the killing of my baby. Okay, that's how I started as an activist. So I am truly pro-life. Always have been, haven't deviated. So when I looked at you and you're standing there with your fire on that street corner, that first video. Remember with the ladies in the red? They were like demons in front of you. That's my first interaction with you. And you didn't stop. And you didn't act like you see, to this day, you see these influencers. They go get some clicks on TikTok, and they're more about feeding the beast itself, for clicks and being an activist and getting some reach and being an influencer. You kept going on, and you were getting the same equivalent level of stuff. But because they watched you fearlessly go up against Satan.
Right.
You were going up against, these are satanic forces that are killing these babies, aren't they?
Right. I'm not a commentator. I could say how I feel, but I'm not somebody that's going to just be what's different between you and a lot of commentators is you lived it. You know what I'm saying? So you can speak, but there's a grit that comes from that because you lived it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just a person trying to get some attention on social media and do things for stunts. Really, to be honest with you, when that movie got posted, I did not have a social media. I wasn't even on social media. My dad died, and I grieved my dad passing away. And that in itself is a whole testimony that in the book, you'll get to read it, right? Because even in the movie, it was so much I've been through, the movie couldn't fit all of it. Yeah. So with me being out there, I did not actually want to be there. That's what people have to understand. If I had it Bev's way, I would have been sitting up on my couch with a nice glass of Riesling, eating a cute steak and some asparagus, whatever. I would not be out there in the hot sun preaching for clicks. No, that's not my vibe.
No.
I wouldn't be out there preaching to these witches because I just want to get outside and get clicks. No. I did it because God told me to do it. He said, if you love me, you obey me. I obeyed him because I loved him. I had a love relationship with Jesus first. Before the action ever took place, I fell in love with Christ. That's the truth.
And you knew where, I remember towards, them realizing how powerful you were, they had to take you out, is when you went up against Black Lives Matter. I think you were. When I watched you do that, and I said, okay, a Black American woman with the power of God behind her, fearlessly approaching this thing. She knows what it is. She's calling it out. And that's when you entered the danger zone, I believe.
Right. I agree. Let me tell you why I did what I did.
Mm-hmm.
People don't, and I'm going to put this in the book. People don't know this, but I ran for state legislator when I lived in Belfast, Maine. Okay, I was nominated out of nowhere, and I ran. It's a small town, and I prayed about it. God said yes, so I did it. Right. When I ran for state legislator, first of all, when I started supporting Trump, I saw like my aunts and uncles get mad, calling me stupid, telling me I hate to be Black, and people just kind of like not want to deal with me because I was conservative. But I ain't trip off that because I'm grown. If I want to support somebody, that's my business. But when I really started to experience racism was when I ran as a Republican in a Democrat state of Maine, which was supposed to be so like pro-Black, so pro for the people, so pro-BLM. But the moment you align with something they don't agree with, respectfully, you a nigga.
Yeah.
Respectfully. That's where you land.
You know what, Deb and I got to interject this. Deb and I I have an aunt in Maine, and she lives, she bought a house, and she's very wealthy now because that house is very expensive, very beautiful out there. We went to visit her. We went to a grocery store, and I looked around, and Deb and I said, because we live in Cincinnati. It's diverse. We're like, there's not a black person in this zip code anywhere. And I said, these people are all Black Lives Matter. Where are they? Where are they hiding them? Right? Nowhere.
Right. Nowhere. And if they're there, they were adopted. Okay?
Yeah, or from
Most of the
Jamaica,
black
we
people that
saw
are in
one.
Maine,
Yeah.
they were adopted by white people.
Yeah.
I remember a girl, I used to have her come to my house to do my hair, do box sprays for me. And when it came out that I supported, life, all life, and I went against BLM, she would go on my page and like troll me. So I click on her page one time and I see this a girl used to do my hair. So I blew her spot up. I'm like, girlfriend, you're not going to tell everybody that you were raised by a white mother and white father because your parents wouldn't take care of you. They're the ones who gave you a household, fed you, and now you dare want to support Black Lives Matter? You're a backstabber and you're ungrateful. She blocked me immediately, right? So for me, it's like, wait a minute. This whole Black Lives Matter thing, what I did was because I was running as a state legislator, I experienced so much racism and so much like backlash for being a conservative. But then I had this woman from New York contact me because at the time Governor Cuomo was trying to do bail reform, which basically would give this public system to bail. So I came down to New York to help her with it. And what we did was we went to these meetings and there was these like white liberals and black liberals that these meetings would be at 3:00 in the middle of the day. No one would know about them. But all of these people, could you imagine a person with blonde hair and blue eyes? And I'm not being racist. I just want you to picture it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Growing up and saying, Black and brown people need bail reform because they're poor and they can't afford it. And, we need to do this and sign in this law because they're lobbying. We can't afford to do it, right? The Black people can't do it, so we need to help them. But now I'm going to the Black community and asking the Black community, do they want bail reform? And they saying, no, we want private bail. We don't want the system to control the bail. We'll figure it out. And I know most Black people who, even if they don't have the money, will figure it out. But what I peeped was that they used us to push a law that they wanted, but we were the stepping stool. So when I saw that, my eyes opened. I'm like, oh snap! They use us to push their agenda, so they hail us just to nail us. It's the Democrats who push bail reform and all of these things like that, but y'all the ones paying for these prisons. There's a reason why the two places I see Black people the most is the abortion clinic and the prison.
Yeah.
When I walked up to the abortion clinic, the lady opened the door for me. She pushed the Roman Catholic lady that was praying with her prayer beads. She pushed her to the side and was like, come on, open the door for me to get in because I was Black. She didn't ask me why you were there.
Wow.
This is my experience. Yes.
Yeah.
And so then when I went to jail, seen the ratio of African Americans, and I said, oh my God. And they was getting hit with numbers, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years for drug trafficking, 30, 40, 50 years. Wow. So it's the same spirit. You don't want the baby? It's okay. Throw them in the trash can. And you know what? This person, they ignorant. They ain't really had no life, no future, no money anyway. Throw them in another trash can, the societal trash can. But either way go, it's the same spirit and the same agenda, and it's the true racism that's happening in this nation.
Oh, it is so true. It is so true. Just two quick stories. I think you'll like it. During COVID, they had 14 days to flatten the curve, and then they only did essential services. And I pretended like I was a dad, and my daughter was pregnant, and I needed to take her in, but because of COVID, I said, "Are you guys essential service?" I recorded this, and they said, "Oh yeah, bring her in." I was like, "We can come get her," just about right. This is the local abortion clinic. I said, "You guys are essential services? People are dying of COVID, and you? Oh yeah, we provide health care, blah blah blah." I'm like, "No, I know, but I'm not looking for health care. I'm looking to kill." She was out late at night, and she made a mistake, and she's got to go back to work. But you're still performing essential services for that type of scenario? They said, oh, yeah. They bragged about it. They said, the government has authorized us to continue killing babies. That's my first story. That was so disgusting. Second story, I was going to you inspired me. I was out at our local abortion clinic, and I wanted to talk to the girls. And I said, I need to stop going because I'm going to come home with a baby. I would have adopted a baby. I would have told them, I'll take your baby. I'll I'll raise your baby if you're having a tough time or whatever. We'll support your baby. You're like, come live with us, or whatever it takes. But these are beautiful souls going in there. And I literally said, I got to stop going, or I'm going to come home with a baby one day, or a scenario like that. But it was so sad. But they stopped that. They did not want, they stopped that, and they brought the heavy hand of the government upon people like me wanting to go to the abortion clinic, even a guy like me, but a woman like you going there, and the messaging you're putting out, they had to shut down. Have you ever studied Frederick Douglass?
Yes.
Frederick Douglass spun off the plantation, didn't he? And the reason why I bring him up, and I understand it, because, and I studied Obama in Chicago, they have this group called the Anti-Civil War Abolitionists. They can never have Frederick Douglass, somebody like Frederick Douglass, spinning away from the narrative. You got to keep the people impoverished in Baltimore so that we can fundraise to take care of the poor, the blah, blah, blah. And I went to Baltimore, and I'm like, can we get a 5-gallon bucket of paint to paint the front of this house? You guys are raising all this money to take care of the inner city, the impoverished. I'm talking to them right now. They said they want jobs and some paint. Where's the money going? They use it for money laundering.
They launder it. That's exactly right.
They launder the money.
I mean, all that money that went to Ukraine was laundered, right? They was getting paid. They was racking up their offshore accounts like nobody's business. And Ukraine was such a milking tool. Oh. Black people are such the war on poverty. Yeah. Look what they did. Not only did they milk it, but we submitted to it, unfortunately. But we gave up. We literally were like Esau. We gave up our birthright for a bowl of stew. We gave up fathers and marriage and family and unity for a government check. And look at what we're dealing with now. If you want to see what communism looks like in a nation, I believe the Black African American community is the test dummy for what communism looks like in a nation, because we allowed it to come into our homes, dictate our culture, and now we're paying the price. Our young kids are killing the old kids. Okay? Our children have now turned on us. They're ready to shoot us. I was stabbed 3 times by Black young children.
I remember that in D.C., in Washington, D.C.
That's right. Because I told them no. Yeah. Because I asked them not to rob someone. Because I told them to stop. And you know what? I was very traumatized by what they did, and I was angry at them for a while. But my heart has changed because I think about it and I say, man, those kids are like me who haven't found Christ. I was not raised with love. I was raised in rejection. I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a father, and my mother didn't love me. So now you don't even know how to draw a line. Love helps you draw a line. Yeah. When you're around love, you can draw a line. Like, you're not going to really rob somebody's grandma because you got a grandma at home that you love. So certain things you just won't do because you have the foundation to realize that's not right. These young kids today, they don't have that. These the ones that's outside with their diaper on playing in a mud puddle while their mother's laid up sleep with a man that ain't their daddy. And then when the neighbor come knocking on the door saying your baby playing in a mud puddle, you beat them. Because there are 3 outside in the mud puddle that you didn't watch them. So now you beat them. You blame them. You mistreat them. I'll never forget, I had a woman come and stay with me and her 2 kids. And she was going through what she was going through. So I was helping her out. She was sleeping. She knew, Monday through Friday, these kids got to go to school. You know that. So why the clothes not ready? Why when you get up, you yelling at them, screaming at them, come on, let's go, hurry up. And I remember I said, listen, I'll take it in the mornings from here. I'm not going to let these kids go to school starting their day with yelling and anger. But these are the type of kids that's growing up and they're getting a gun and they're doing anything to anybody because they're not raised with love. And that's all from that culture of war on poverty and all them Democrat laws and Democrat systems that they set up to keep us as the problem so they can launder and make money off of us.
And Bevelyn, you're going to have to pardon me. We're going to take a 5-minute break, okay? On the other side, it's going to be a powerful segment. I know it is, because we got to continue this discussion. Also, I think you and I have similar experiences on the other side of those walls. The people that you come into contact with of every walk of life, some of them are in a fortunate set of circumstances because they're not exposed to drugs. The system is so broken. It really, really is. But I think your most powerful days are yet to come. Bevelyn, stay right there. We'll be right back right after this, okay?
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
if you don't like the range of music, of course, we can broadcast on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, stay put because we cover a broad range of music, and you'll see that in this show. I'm back with Bevelyn Beatty, and welcome back. All right, now, in the essence of time here in this segment, and it's going to be an ongoing thing. I've already given you my commitment, especially because I cannot, because this network right here, I've got 2 shows. I couldn't get it covered, so I can't come on Thursday. But we are going to, if I have to, every day as the film is released, and on an ongoing basis promote it, because there's no establishment that can shut this thing down, and they've censored you. So here's my question to you about this movie. It's important enough for them to not let you go to a release in the movie theaters, number one, and you said that's okay, let's release it here. So here's my first question to you. Have you been censored? Okay. Let's talk about the solutions to that censorship. And then tell me what's in your film that they don't want anybody to see or hear.
Right. Well, I have been censored. I think this is the first time I've been censored on such a major scale. My censoring was happening even back then when I was preaching and throwing the paint and stuff like that. I would have like 18,000 views and then it would go down to 5,000. So I was being shadow banned. Remember at the time they would call it shadow banning.
Yes.
And then, I dealt with that, but especially once they got Trump out of office, it's like you couldn't say hello without a red flag on your page. So it was like going live and all of that stuff became null and void because they were censoring me so bad. So I just was like, you know what? I'll never forget I was praying and I said, God, they're just censoring me really bad. I don't like it. And he said, don't worry, I'm going to give you a bigger platform. I said, Lord. So then I get locked up. I'm not thinking about a movie. They call me and they want to do a movie. And I'm like, yeah, man, you know what? Let's do it. And everything was rolling. We were steamrolling in. We got it done. Everything was looking good. And then 15 days before it's supposed to drop in theaters, they just pulled out. They was like, no, we're not showing this movie. It's crazy because my husband's watching it now. I'm not watching it until the premiere on the 14th.
Oh, wow.
And my husband's watching the movie. He's like, Bev, this joint is fire and it's powerful.
Oh, wow.
This joint is fire. And I'm like, babe, don't tell me that because you're my man. Like, keep it 100. He like, nah, babe, this joint is fire and it's powerful. So I have not watched it, but I was there behind the scenes through everything. The makeup, the style, all of it. I was in, my hands was in it. So I will tell you what they don't like in the message. When I say this, understand I'm not Miss Blackity Black pro black, okay? But I feel like a single person on this channel can acknowledge that my people group, the Black Americans, have been on. I feel like we can acknowledge that, right? So when I say what I say, hear me well. We have been a pawn for so long, okay? What they put up is the guys that are tall and that can dribble, okay? They never own. They never have a real big share. They just have enough to keep running, doing what they're doing. Your LeBron James, those are tokens. Your Jay-Z's and Beyonce's, those are tokens, okay? And the Megan Thee Stallions and the Sexy Reds that they put in the Cardi B's that they put up on center stage at the Gucci shows and at the Versace shows and on these major TV scenes to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like y'all should vote for Kamala because Kamala's that girl. That's what they want to promote.
Yeah.
Right. So now, all we see is, as Black men, they're either entertainers, you funny, you rap, or you're athletic. And as a Black woman, you're a sex appeal, you shake that thing, you're promiscuous, and your life is nothing but drama.
Glamorized criminality. Glamorized criminality, right?
Right. Glamorizing criminality, glamorizing promiscuity, glamour on both sides, between men and women. No glamour for marriage and love and stability and, and so that's what is pushed because now think about it. In the public scene, it look good. People click it. It's fun. They look like they living life and they making money, but they're miserable. But now those same people that are on the regular scene are mimicking it, and they're headed for destruction. They're listening to people like King Von and these gangster rappers, but they're actually going out and killing. These rappers are just rapping about it because they're paid to. But now the thousands of them that are bumping their head to this music, they go out and kill them.
Yeah.
The girls that listen to Cardi B, they're walking outside with their ass out, with their titties out, and looking for a plug, looking for a 6-figure nigga. That's what was being pushed. I'm just being real.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, here I am. I came from that background.
Uh-huh.
I came from being a statistic, but I found a solution.
Yes.
Which they don't want people to know. They want you to see the problem and live off of the problem so they can keep acting like their solution. Hello, communism.
Yeah.
But I found the real solution. His name is Yeshua, Jesus.
Amen.
Right? So in the movie I show that I was cornered to change because I was headed for self-destruction. That's the truth. And now, the same way I was dedicated to being destructive, I became dedicated to being conductive for the kingdom. Right? Yeah. And so my story is really hard for them to push because I'm the truth. My movie is 95% true. A lot of girls can relate to it. And I'm a black woman who got saved and wasn't a token. And I became a force to be reckoned with. And the truth is this. Y'all can agree. I think there's a reason why the African American community or the Black American community is so targeted by this specific group. Because they know the power they carry. I'm gonna prove it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Carry such a power because what people group can you say came to a country as slaves and became free men that integrated into society and became a part of society? Because once upon a time, even with Jim Crow and all of that, we were integrated in society and we were flourishing. We were people. I mean, obviously, Lyndon Baines Johnson said it. These niggas getting uppity. They got themselves a little political backing. They feeling themselves. They think they're cute. I got something for them. I'm going to give them enough. Not too much, but enough that I have them Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. I know how to get them back in their place.
Yeah.
We elevated with Christ out of that place that we came into this nation as.
Yes.
And through the Democrat system, they pushed us back, right? So now that says the day we wake up and we really come up off of this plantation that we already had came off of and went back to, it will change the nation. It will change the culture of the nation. And that's what they don't want.
Yeah, so I was asking you, and I kind of felt bad because I hadn't seen, like a lot of people send me a code to watch the movie prior to the interview. I didn't have that. And I'm like, okay, I've already seen scenes of her life that we've come to love you. I'll never forget, we were almost, we were pretty emotional when you got stabbed and it hit your kidney. And we said, that's serious stuff there. That was serious. Right. We watched that happen. They're going to kill her. She's so powerful. They are going to kill her. So I've seen scenes of your movie. And then I'm asking you, what's in your movie? I already know the answer to that question. You know the answer. You haven't seen it either. But I'm going to tell you something. What you just said as well is what they're trying to shut down. Not just your life story, your particular set of circumstances. They don't want what you got for anyone else. Somebody else figures that out. It's like Frederick Douglass. They don't want somebody like Frederick Douglass, departing planet Earth, the equivalent of a multimillionaire on his own. He said, I don't need you guys. I'm going to go my own way. They can't have somebody relying upon God. Here's my question to you, and you're going to have to, not pardon my urgency, but I want to make sure that we get this in, and this will be the launching point as we promote your film, and we're going to do so in a big way. We need to get it out to viewing parties in the churches. We're going to talk about that solution. When I was inside the prison system, I am living proof of the statistic when I say that there's a large population of Black Americans in jail, because I saw and lived in units with 80% of them were Black Americans. And racism, even in that environment, is so prevalent that there were circumstances where, the politics inside, I'd walk by, I'd have my tray, I'd sit down with the black car, with the OGs, right? I'm an OG too. Let's go. And they're like, hey, Santilli, you can't be doing that. I'm like, yeah, I can. Why not? They're like, because you're at the black table. I'm like, I am? I said, I am. I said, screw that. This is what I told them. I'd rather be shanked out bleeding. I ride the Santilli unicycle Okay? And I don't go by this color thing. And I told everybody that. And word got out. I said, I don't go by this racism in the system. Okay? This is wrong what's happening here. And I sat down and I broke bread with them. But here's my point to you. You came from a certain environment without God and under the influence. And I used to talk to people. I'm like, you're so nice. Like you're really nice. What the hell are you doing in here? And they told me, a lot of them, they said, you know what? This might be, and I would talk to their families on the phone that were struggling with stuff when we would pray together. I do prayer circles. And they're like, Santilli, this is actually kind of good for me because I'm spending more time with my family. I'm not under the influence of drugs and alcohol. This is kind of like it's a blessing, And I've got God inside myself.
It's mercy.
Yeah. And I said to myself, man, can you imagine that? So the drugs, right? And he wants to be a family man. He's a good person. If we could just give him some support getting on the outside. And I watched this. I'm talking hundreds of people I met like that. Hundreds of Black Americans. But they were smart and awake, just like you said. They know what's keeping them down. They know how broken the system is. Was my observation pretty close to reality?
Right. Yeah, what you're saying is nail on the head. You had asked me earlier. You said, Bevelyn, what was it about prison that you really just saw like that built your faith? I told you that in prison, you have everything laid out for you to either destroy yourself or straighten up. Mm-hmm. In prison, I saw that I really am light and I really am a Christian. Why? Because I did the type of things you did. I would stop fights. I would be praying for people. I would be talking to these girls. And I would realize a lot of y'all in here because of mercy. Because if y'all not in this prison, y'all going to be in hell. Number one. But number two, y'all are so powerful. Y'all are so intelligent. Y'all are jewels. Why are y'all in a cage? Do you I would talk to women, they want to fight because somebody owed them $20 in commissary. I'm like, listen, I'll give it to you. It's not worth it. Go home. Get out of this cage. They treat you like an animal. You're nothing but an animal in here. This is not okay. Yeah. But everything you said, as far as like the rehabilitation, it's not there. It's a trash can society. When I was in prison, I felt like I was just a person thrown in the trash. Oh, yeah. I was in prison, but I wasn't of prison, but I was in a trash can. And I think you can agree. Yeah. And it's just sad for these babies in the womb being thrown into a bin in trash. But where's the solution? And the only person who came with that was Trump. And I think that dude Hakeem, who was working with Trump, who started this First Step Act and started taking these men out of prison. Number one, they need jobs. It is so hard to get a job when you have a felony on your record. But now, if they've been able to prove that they can handle society in prison, all they need is a job that pays them enough so they ain't got to keep running to the streets. Right. It's not normal. You got to understand as a man, I'm speaking for the men right now. Mm-hmm. It is not normal when you have bills and you have responsibilities and you don't have the means to be the solution. Men were born to be a solution. Yeah. It cuts into a man's heart so bad, and they get to a place where they're just like, you know what, I'm going to make up my own solution. Yeah. And they do the wrong thing. It's not normal for a woman to have to be worried about bills and kids and family structure and all of that by herself. She needs a husband to help her with provision so that she can take care of the kids and give the kids what they need. So the whole system is messed up. You got women in prison calling their mom, telling their kid, I love you, I'll see you soon, I love you. Mommy, I'll never forget visitation. And she was white, but she had 13 years on her head. And her daughter was crying as we had to leave the visit. And that woman just cried so hard. And I remember grabbing her and hugging her. And I just was like, in my heart broke for her because I'm like, her daughter has to deal with that. Yeah. For 13 years, she ain't got to have she ain't got a mom. Oh my goodness. God started is broken. Yeah. This brokenness is demonic and has to stop. It has to stop.
And what does that do to the family? So the First Step Act of it. And here's my criticism of this. We need to see, this is what I'm saying. Your story is still yet to be told because there's stuff that maybe are not, you can't put everything in a film. You still have a lot of stories to tell. I can honestly say that I built relationships, lifelong friendships from people that I would have never, ever had contact with. But the one key element that brought us together and that they were afraid of, and the system is broken in this regard, And I had people go out the door, and I was there for so long, they'd come back in, and they violated because of drugs. They don't get any support like that. Addiction's a big problem, and that's fed by the machine. You know that. Our government has distributed. As a matter of fact, the big dope dealers and convicts, I mean, the hardcore convicts going to jail for decades, they said the biggest freaking kingpins are the federal agents. They're
Correct.
And at any time, they're going to come get your freaking cash and your drugs, and they put it back out in the system. When they're done with you, that's it. That's how it works. They told me that. But if they're addicted to drugs, there is no system, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you this right now. From the federal prison system, they will send you out in the street, and they're kind of hoping you'll come back in because they make money on filling that bed, don't they?
I have a young lady right now that just got out. She got out without an ID. She did not have money. She was in a program, and I think the program kicked her out of the feds. They didn't even make sure she had an ID. You can't do nothing without an ID. And she's in California. She called me. She said, Bev, I've been sleeping on the bench. I'm like, dang, bro. I don't really know anybody in San Diego, but let me go ahead and put you in like an Airbnb or something real quick. She's waiting to get her ID now. She still has her storage. But it's like they literally sent her on the streets without an ID. And she's just out here. I mean, she's literally headed towards prostitution. Yeah. She's going to have to, like, it's literally going to be prostitution or drugs.
Or drugs,
just to feed herself.
Yeah.
And so first of all, it is, why are you releasing someone from federal prison without an ID?
Yeah.
Without a state ID card?
Come on.
Why are you, so you're getting this money from the government to facilitate, what are you doing with the money? Because you're pitching it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been wanting to talk about to the Congress. They are coming to y'all. These jails are coming to y'all pitching what they're going to do this year, why they need this budget, and what they're planning on doing just to get the money and don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Had you, you don't have to answer this question, but in your past, I don't know the answer to this because it was, I have a different life too. I was a Roman Catholic, don't hold that against me. But were you ever in prison before?
I was in jail.
Jail. Right. But not prison.
Like you get like locked up.
Right.
And you're waiting to get bailed out.
Right.
I was in jail. And that's when I came to Christ. And that's also in the movie. I had got locked up
in jail,
for scamming. And I was locked up for 7 days. And I was waiting on my dad to bail me out. And so in the midst of waiting for bail to come, I met this lady who charged me and was like, yo, you need to change your life because you headed towards death, girl. And I received it. I accepted Christ. And so that was my only, I never spent more than 15 days in jail at max. So prison was a whole new world. Having the number registered in.
Yeah.
After that was a whole new world for me.
It's like a different country. We have a couple minutes left here, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Mr. Williams, I don't know if he's done any interviews, but I at least want to have a conversation with him so that I get because he's seen the movie. I want to help promote it. He's a beautiful soul. He stood by you. That's why I married Deb, by the way. 2 years she waited on that. What kind of woman's going to wait on the outside, for 2 years? I didn't really expect. She stood with me, never deviated. We lost friends. I lost family. And she stayed with me. And I married her. So I'm with her. So, Mr. Williams, will you talk to him, ask him if I can at least have a conversation and maybe interview him?
Do it. Yeah. Don't worry, he'll do it. And I will say this, like, that's Deb as a woman. I mean, that's what us women, the ones, that's built like that, we'll do that. Yeah. But a man to do that, it's another level in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
That man, I was so taken care of in prison. Let me tell you something, Pete. I was there for 3 months. You would have thought I was there for 10 years.
Yeah.
I had 3 mattresses. Okay, my bed was nice and plush.
Yeah. Listen, Bevelyn, you're going to have to. All right, so we're going to push the pause button. All right, we're going to hear these stories. There's a big story to be told, even outside of the film. Everyone, give everybody marching orders, and then I will follow through every single day. We'll help promote it. We'll get it out to the churches. We'll have viewing parties. Give everybody the website to go to right now. It premieres on Thursday.
WatchPardonMe.com. WatchPardonMe.com. Go.
WatchPardonMe.com. WatchPardonMe.com. We'll put the link down below. We want to encourage everybody to do viewing parties in their churches to get around all this censorship. Nothing's going to stop us. Bevelin, thank you for coming on. I hope you thought I did a good job for this first visit in a long time. Thank you. All right, everybody. Everybody stay right there. I just ran just slightly over, but that's okay. That's Bevelin Williams. And we're coming away from LFA TV. And, of course, if you are tuned in on the live stream, you get to hear us the night before. But first thing in the morning, actually, we do the rebroadcast. We're in the chat room. Please definitely join us in the chat rooms. Go to our channel over at Rumble and Locals. And, of course, over on X. That's all we got time for this evening. Guess what? When we go into overtime, we're going to do something in the third hour periodically where we have a guest in our chat room. We get to do a Q&A with our guests on Locals. So that's a big thing. All right. Bye, everybody.
Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have to respond in Iran?
Well, I've been well, I'm wide awake. Won't take your brand, I'm not your slave. You serve your God, Lord of the flies. I pity you and you mean mine. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Your bloody mouth unsatisfied. God sees the trap you set for me. He'll not be mocked, I will be free. We will not bend. We will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Your fear will not make me behave. I won't march in your masked parade. Your hollow threats won't shut me up. I won't bow down, enough's enough. You say you'll give us what we need, as if you own the air we breathe. Stand up 100 million strong. Thought we'd lie down, well you thought wrong. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? Never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Oh, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus closer than my breath. Just keep going, keep on going. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God